There is a silent habit most people never question. They explain themselves, constantly, why they did something, why they didn't respond, why they chose that path, why they changed their mind, why they set a boundary, and they do it thinking it is maturity. But often, it is fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of being judged, fear of losing approval. Stoicism offers a radical alternative. You do not owe everyone an explanation, and the moment you understand why, you become emotionally free. One of the central principles of Stoicism is simple. Some things are within your control. Most things are not. Your thoughts, within your control. Your actions, within your control. Other people's opinions, completely outside your control. When you explain yourself obsessively, what are you trying to do? You are trying to manage how others perceive you. You are trying to adjust their interpretation. You are trying to shape their judgment. But here is the truth. You cannot control someone else's perception, not fully, not permanently, not reliably. No explanation guarantees understanding, because understanding depends on the listener. And if the listener does not want to understand you, no amount of explaining will change that. The Stoic asks, why invest energy in what you cannot control? Emotional energy is finite. Every time you defend yourself unnecessarily, you pay with peace. Every time you justify your boundaries, you spend emotional currency. Every time you try to convince someone determined to misunderstand you, you drain yourself. And here is the tragedy. The people who truly respect you rarely demand explanations. The ones who demand them repeatedly often don't seek clarity. They seek control. Explaining yourself to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you is like pouring water into a bottomless pit. It is a silent tragedy. You give effort, they give resistance, you give clarity, they give suspicion, you lose calm, they lose nothing. Stoicism teaches conservation. Guard your internal resources. Manipulation often begins with confusion. Someone questions your decision. You explain. They challenge your explanation. You clarify further. They reinterpret your clarification. And suddenly, you are defending yourself inside their frame. Every explanation hands them material. Every justification gives them angles to twist. The more you talk, the more they lead. The Stoic strategy is disruptive. Silence. Not passive silence, not fearful silence, strategic silence. When you do not explain, you become unpredictable. When you are unpredictable, you are difficult to control. Manipulators rely on emotional reactions and extended dialogue. You remove both, and the dynamic collapses. Refusing to over-explain is not arrogance. It is self-respect. When you constantly justify your choices, you subtly communicate, my decisions require your approval. But they don't. You are allowed to. Change your mind. Say no, leave, disagree, outgrow someone, choose differently, without providing a courtroom defense. Strong individuals set boundaries calmly. I'm not available. I've made my decision. I don't see it that way. And then they stop. No long paragraph. No emotional essay. No desperate persuasion. Because their value is not dependent on external validation. And this is where Stoicism becomes powerful. Your worth is not negotiable. Many people explain because they seek closure. They want the other person to finally understand. They want acknowledgement. They want an apology. They want validation. But Stoicism teaches something difficult. Closure must come from within. Waiting for someone to understand you is giving them control over your peace. Waiting for an apology is tying your healing to someone else's maturity. The Stoic creates internal closure. You understand your own intention. You reflect on your own integrity. You accept your own truth. That is enough. Not everyone will see you clearly, and that is okay. There is a level of confidence where explanation becomes unnecessary. Your actions speak. Your consistency speaks. Your behavior over time speaks. When someone misunderstands you, instead of defending your character verbally, demonstrate it quietly. Over time, truth stabilizes. Noise fades. If someone is committed to misunderstanding you, no explanation will help. If someone is open-minded, they will observe your behavior and adjust. Either way, over-explaining adds nothing. When you stop explaining excessively, something changes inside you. You feel lighter. You stop rehearsing arguments in your head. You stop crafting imaginary speeches. You stop worrying about narratives. You become centered, because your identity is no longer outsourced. The world may interpret you differently, and that is fine. You focus on living in alignment with your principles, not on managing perception. This is freedom. When you constantly explain yourself, you are acting in someone else's story. When you stop, you become the director of your own. You decide what deserves energy. You decide what deserves silence. You decide when to speak, and that choice is power. The Stoic does not chase approval. He maintains alignment. He does not waste words defending his existence. He lives deliberately and lets the world adjust. The next time you feel the urge to explain yourself unnecessarily, pause. Ask, am I seeking clarity or am I seeking approval? Am I protecting truth or protecting ego? If your integrity is intact, your actions speak. You do not need everyone to understand you. You only need to understand yourself, and that is enough.